Welcome to New Jersey Wedding Podcast. This is the podcast to listen to if you're planning your wedding in New Jersey, whether you're in New Jersey or maybe you're elsewhere. It's kind of interesting. We're getting a lot of hits from people who are all over the world. Cool. I'm Celia Milton. I am the owner and head officiant for the New Jersey Vows Now website. We have three great officiants. We cover North New Jersey, and my partner in crime in weddings, Andrea Pertel, who covers Central and South Jersey. So wherever you are in New Jersey, you are going to be fine. We cover the
I
state.
got you covered.
You got it. We got you covered. But it's kind of interesting that so many people find us from being out of state because we're going to talk a little bit later on with a fantastic hotel venue, which makes it so easy to plan from out of state. We're going to talk a little bit about our weekends. And Andrea, you were all over the place this weekend.
What another beautiful
Oh, it's gorgeous.
fall weekend here in New Jersey.
Mm,
Every weekend has been just so beautiful for our wedding.
fantastic.
And I had the typical October, wedding weekend. This is the busiest time of year. It was so much fun. It started on Thursday with a big, beautiful wedding at the Hamilton Manor. Friday, two beach weddings, a little beach wedding, and then I was over at Windows on the Water in Seabright. Again, a beautiful outdoor ceremony
Mm,
right there on the beach because we had such beautiful weather. And then Saturday, I was at Bishop Farmstead out. That's another Jam catering property, and we'll talk about them at a later date
yes.
because they're going to be on the podcast sometime in November. But that was a beautiful outdoor wedding as well. And then I rounded off my weekend with a Sunday baby blessing at their home, backyard home, and so that was a lot of fun. Yeah, great
Nice.
weekend. How about you,
No, it
Celia?
was. I had a wedding at 90 acres in Natterer in Peapack, which is gorgeous. And we're hoping to have them on as well. And I was at a hotel venue on Saturday, which was, when we were talking to Allison about her venue, a lot of the things that she brings up about having a hotel wedding are so they're just so relevant to, there are all kinds of different hotels. There are like overgrown B&Bs. There are rustic kind of hotels like Wolverton. But there are so many good points to having a wedding in a place like that. And she touched a lot about a lot of them, like not having to have shuttles, having all your people there. So if you're going to have a rehearsal dinner, there they are. There's a lot of great reasons to do that.
Right. Well, they're all under one roof.
Yeah.
And having the hotel rooms right there. So yeah, we are starting our series with Hotels Unlimited. They have three wedding venues here in New Jersey. There's the Sheraton, the Grand and Regal Ballroom in Eatontown. There's the Windsor Ballroom in Windsor, New Jersey. And there is the Sterling Ballroom in Tinton Falls, New Jersey. And we started this with our interview with Allison at the Sterling Ballroom in Tinton Falls, which is a venue that both Celia
Yeah.
and I have been to on many, many occasions. And it's an elegant, just a beautiful, grand ballroom there. You're very traditional, elegant ballroom, and they also have an outdoor ceremony space that's quite beautiful too.
Yeah. I was really impressed by their menu and their, additions with their specialized cocktail bars and dessert stations. I thought that their menu was really very inventive and very top notch.
Yeah, yeah, and they have a great staff there too.
Yeah,
I
they do.
I
They
very
do.
much enjoy working there. Really, really
Cool.
good staff. So I think
All right.
everyone's going to enjoy this
Yeah,
interview with Allison from the Sterling Ballroom in Tinton Falls, New Jersey.
fantastic.
Hi. Hi, I'm Andrea Pertel, owner of For This Joyous Occasion Officiating Services, and I'd love to be part of your special day. With over 14 years of experience and more than 400 five-star reviews, I'm a professional wedding officiant who takes pride in creating personalized ceremonies that reflect your unique love story. Whether you're looking for a religious, non denominational, spiritual, non religious, interfaith, or multicultural ceremony, I've got you covered. I'm based at the Jersey Shore, but I happily travel throughout New Jersey. One of the things couples love most about working with me is my original Build Your Ceremony menu. It's a one-of-a-kind feature that lets you design your ceremony exactly how you want it, choosing from a range of options to make every moment feel uniquely yours. So, from intimate elopements to traditional weddings and anything in between, I am honored to officiate your ceremony. Visit For This Joyous Occasion Officiating Services, and let's start planning the ceremony of your dreams.
Good morning, everybody. We have a fabulous guest this morning. We're very excited to talk to Allison. She is the catering sales director for the Sterling Ballroom, one of the highest rated wedding venues in Central Jersey. They have fabulous food. Every testimonial on their website raves about the food.
Right.
A beautiful setting, a hotel on site, which is such a stress reliever. There's no dealing with shuttles and where are people, and your out-of-town guests are right there. It makes it very, very easy. And then we have Allison, who's going to help you personalize your wedding with all kinds of great amenities. Selfie stations. I've never heard of anybody providing that. I think that's cool. And like pre-ceremony hospitality, after parties, chocolate chips, pralines, you name it, Allison's got it. Allison, tell us about having a wedding at your place.
Thank you. Thank you for such a nice introduction on that. So the best part about the place is just how everything is so all inclusive. We are part of the hotel. We have a separate banquet space, which is nice, but you open the doors and there's the hotel, the guest rooms, the front desk, the restaurant. So you make your way right from the wedding reception, right to your rooms, or right to that after party at our Cobalt Lounge. So a lot of times brides come in and there's just so many different things that you need for the wedding. And at the Sterling Ballroom, we offer everything from the food, the staff, the maitre d', to the linen choices, to napkin colors, centerpieces, uplighting in the ballroom. So we really offer everything. We have a bridal lounge for the bride to get ready in the day of. We have sleeping rooms. We have complimentary sleeping rooms included, a honeymoon suite the night of. So there's really not much more that you need besides, you're like your DJ and your photographer. We could really offer everything right there on site, which is just a huge relief to the couples.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
very
I know.
all inclusive. And I was just there recently, a couple of weekends ago, and it was so beautiful out. You guys have the outside ceremony space, which
Yes.
is
And
very
what's
nice.
amazing? What's amazing about that is I know what wedding you were a part of, and that wasn't even our wedding package, but we put something together unique for the couple because they were having such a small wedding and they
Right.
weren't looking for a whole done up. And we put together an inclusive package of everything that we offer from the weddings. And they didn't miss a beat of what they could have had, paying for a 100-person wedding to that 35-person
That's
wedding.
great. That's
So
so sweet.
that's interesting. So you personalize that to them. So let's talk about your spaces. Obviously, you do accommodate micro weddings like the one we were just doing together, the 35 people. But how big of a wedding can you accommodate?
So we can accommodate up to a 200-person wedding. We can specialize to micro, smaller weddings when the couple is willing to be very flexible and
Right.
willing to have that smaller afternoon type of wedding on that Saturday or Sunday.
Right.
And then we can go full out to a 5-hour reception, 200-person wedding on a Saturday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, any day of the week, honestly. but we could go all up to that cocktail hour, reception, sit down dinner, our wedding cakes included. Everything like that is what they can go up to from that small, unique wedding that you were here to be a part of.
Yeah. I think too, I like it that you mentioned the centerpieces. Listeners can see the photos on your website, which we will put a link in that shows the decor. I'm sure everybody uses these beautiful centerpieces. One less thing to have to think about, right?
Yes. We just went through a full renovation. So we just completed a renovation in September of 2023. And top to bottom, the entire hotel to the banquet space was renovated. So it's beautiful. Those things like centerpiece and stuff like that are new and updated with the updates of the ballroom. We really didn't take a step back on anything with that. We did the ballroom, and the owner of the company said, we have to do the centerpieces. And you could just see that in the pictures and stuff online as well.
Yeah.
It's very pretty. And I notice you have jeweled napkin rings. That would be the line in the sand for me.
Yes,
They're pretty, yeah. Those pretty accessories that you can get. I like that you can pick your package. It seems like it could be very budget friendly, and then you go to the accessories and see what you want to add on, what speaks to you or what you're not interested in, right?
There's all
yes.
kinds of
And
fun stuff here.
yes, and we offer ceremonies on site, indoor and outdoor. We have a beautiful outdoor space, and we have an indoor, we use our ballroom for the indoor space and set that up. So
Yeah.
we also have that to be, back to that all inclusive, you don't never have to leave the space.
Yeah.
I think for people planning weddings from far away, and it's interesting, we have a preferred list for everybody who's been on the podcast, and you will be on that. And a lot of our inquiries are from people like all over the country and all over the world, really. So I feel like, having an alternative like your space that has so many different ways to personalize it and have your people come there and be there and not worry about, finding other hotel blocks in other places. That is a gigantic thing. I think that's such a stress reliever.
Yes, it really is. And, you can come in and you can have your rehearsal dinner. You had a big party and you wanted to have your rehearsal dinner, have your rehearsal dinner the night before. You could have your wedding the next night, and you could follow up with a private breakfast the next morning. Your guests get a nice discounted rate with the hotel. So that's affiliated. So that's all nice. So it really is just a one-stop shop in that kind of sense.
Yeah, having it all there and always having the hotel, a nice hotel too, right there is just perfect, and especially for afterwards. And nobody's got to get in the car and drive anywhere. You can
Yeah.
just head to that elevator and up to your room, and you're fine, and down for breakfast the next morning.
Yeah, and too, like, you have kids that are part of the ceremony, but you don't want them for the reception, or they're just not going to make it all night. It's nice for the families to know that they could just take the kids up there, and mom or dad or someone could stay down and hang out while someone goes up with the kids, and it's not so much of a stress on everyone to be a part of that.
Right. And from a photography standpoint, there is that outdoor ceremony space for pictures, or of course inside in the ballroom area. But the Sterling Ballroom is conveniently located to a lot of nice areas to go and take pictures, whether it's at the beach or one of the local parks, or in Asbury Park, or if you're looking for that photography, you don't have to travel too far to get those photos before your ceremony.
No, not at all. I would say the beach is probably about 15 minutes from here, and that's great. People love going over there, but there are, like you said, a lot of parks and stuff in this area where, 10, 15 minutes, you're over there for a couple hours, and then you're back here before everything starts.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a big plus. That's a big plus. Having everybody there and getting ready there, I think that the getting ready at the same place as you're getting married part is it's such a relief for stress, because you're not having to get everybody into limos and take them someplace else. Everybody's right there. It's so much more relaxing.
Mhm.
Yes. I have brides that stay at the hotel. You're having your wedding somewhere else, and they don't realize that they have to maybe have somewhere to get ready in the morning or something else because that venue only allots a certain time
Right.
prior and all of that. So, I always say it's nice knowing that everything's here and you're having your wedding here, you get that treatment with the hotel affiliated with it.
Such a
That's cool.
much more relaxing day. Get ready
Yeah.
right there. Have your hair and makeup folks come right there, do it, and nobody has to travel. I like
Yes.
that.
And
Mhm.
vendors love working here because of the convenience of the location of everything, where the venue is. It's not, you're not going from one space to the other with cocktail hour to the reception, it's really like local in that sense where it saves them a lot of time traveling and setting up the equipment and stuff like that.
Working here at the shore, it's nice and easy to get to, and there's parking.
Yes.
Yes, I
Yes.
know.
There's parking and it's free.
Yeah, that's a real plus. Uh,
And
so
you're right off the parkway.
yeah,
We're, right off the parkway. So it's very convenient for guests traveling. And we have a lot of guests from, maybe Staten Island or couples from Staten Island
Hmm.
and stuff because it's just so convenient on the parkway. And it's like the Jersey Shore, they're getting that whole like vacation experience, but they're just, like a 45-minute drive away.
That's
right. And
great.
even though you are right off the parkway, when you are in that outside ceremony space, you don't feel like you're right off a parkway
No,
or
because you're
anything.
on the other side of it. And
Very
the
nice.
way that it's angled in the back towards the parking lot, you really have that space to yourself that you don't hear that outside noise.
Nobody's can see it. Other hotel rooms aren't looking down on you. It's very
Yes,
nice.
exactly.
I love your menu. I'm scrolling through your site, through your amenities, your libations, and there are some really inventive things here. I really like it. I like it.
Yes, we have some great add-ons, especially for cocktail hour and the dessert. We have some great
Mm,
stations, like for winter time, we have a s'more. Well, you can do it all year round, but like that winter feel, we have a s'more station for dessert. So you literally pick a different flavor s'more, and then we have chocolates, graham crackers, gives you that whole feel. And then we have a donut station, everything for dessert. We could go all out. We have a chocolate fountain. And then for cocktail hour, everything from, sushi to a high tide station to a buffet, the cheese, the charcuterie, all of that. So,
it just looks like so much fun.
Yeah.
It does.
So,
It really does.
Allison, do you have a favorite or unique wedding story to share? Anything out of the ordinary or fun or a moment where you saved the day to share with our listeners? Anything like that?
hmm. So a story, something that always sticks out to me when, especially when you're in this business, it's sometimes you have to make a decision or you have to put your foot down with things. And you always wonder, like, are you making that decision correctly at the right time?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, and we had a couple that they had an outside ceremony. And well, first I will say when this bride came in, I remembered meeting her. She came in by herself without her fiance. We had a wedding promotion coming on. And then like the next day she came back with her fiance. I specifically remember her because she had a band and she booked her wedding date around the band's availability.
Okay.
That was like her most exciting thing.
Okay.
And her and the couple went with the photographer to take pictures at the beach, just the two of them, because of how close they were. And it started raining,
Right.
and our ceremony space is outside. And it was getting to the point where a decision needed to be made, and we couldn't get in touch. And then to flip our ballroom a certain way, we need a certain amount of specific time.
Yeah.
And we couldn't get in touch with her. And her parents were there and they didn't want to make the decision. So I made the decision. We set the ballroom up a very unique way because the band was there and it was so large. But she had a lot of different decor items that we could really work with to make it beautiful. And she walked in and she was just so happy with the decision that we made and how we did it. And she said, like, she was almost glad she didn't pick up the phone because she didn't have to stress about that.
She didn't
like the
have,
decision was made for her. And she had a beautiful wedding and the family was so beautiful. And I just always go back to thinking like, that I've been doing this long enough where sometimes your gut is telling you what to do. So I
Yeah,
always kind of fall back on that with decisions. And it was just one of like my favorite couples that I worked with. And I love the bride so much. So that's something that always sticks to me when I'm unsure of things.
yeah, that's a lesson for couples. Trust the pro. Like you said, you've been
absolutely.
doing that long enough. You knew that you had to move it inside, and then once you move it inside, you can't look at the weather anymore. You
Yes.
doesn't
Yes.
matter if it clears up. You had to make that decision. You really had to. And the fact that you have to do it with enough time to set it up beautifully and to be able to incorporate their decorations and make that ceremony space just as lovely. So you have to trust the pros and move it inside when
You really
needed.
do. And, ultimately, once you make that decision, it's much better to spend your wedding day anticipating your wedding ceremony and reception than looking at Doppler all day and wondering if you're going to have 15 minutes that it's not raining,
Yeah.
Sometimes I tell brides, I say, let's just move it inside. You don't have to think about it. And you'll still get
Right.
your pictures outside if the weather's beautiful.
Right.
Absolutely.
You'll still get that space outside.
Yeah.
And actually, back to that story, it's so important to pick the right vendors to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always the advice that I give, is just to pick the right vendor. Because if I
Mhm.
didn't have the right band or, the right DJ at that time or the right people around to help make that all happen the way that it did, it wouldn't have come out that way. So, that's what I always tell people, is making sure to pick the right vendors, pick the right DJ, the photographer, don't sometimes,
Go with the
yes,
preference.
the officiants, like to run everything the same, the right, correct way. You're spending all of this money. Don't skip out on something so important like that.
Yeah,
Right. Because the truth is when we arrive, we all become their wedding team.
we're a
When I
team.
arrive at the Sterling Ballroom, I check in with Allison. What do I need to know? You check in with whomever's providing the ceremony music for the music. We all know how to work as a team together, and that's really important.
Yes, and we have a maitre d that's been working for uh this company. I mean, he's been at this ballroom for maybe, I think, 15 years.
Yes.
So he always, he's there, he's planning, he always knows. And, a lot of the vendors walk in and they're like, oh, that's Nemo. I know who that is. Like, oh, we're good. Like, I'll touch base with him, like, so that's the good thing about vendors and stuff like that too. And
Nemo's
making sure you
great.
have the right team.
Last time I was there, I was like, "You've been here a long time, haven't you?" We've both been doing it the same amount of time. And he's really great to work with. He's
Yes, he
super.
is.
Yeah. Yeah. You have a great staff there, because I think that is one of the best parts of the Sterling Ballroom is the staff is friendly, professional, and nice to work with. I really like working at the Sterling Ballroom.
Oh, thank
I've
you.
been
We
there
like
too,
having you
actually.
here.
Even though I'm in North Jersey, but I've been there too, and it's always been lovely. The staff's been gracious and professional, and as we just talked about, really willing to do anything to make those parties happen. And I think that that's really a great big plus, a great big selling point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
I want to tell our listeners that we will include a link to the Sterling Ballroom's website as well as their Instagram site right on our social media sites, which are New Jersey Wedding Podcast. So you can just click on them and check out their Instagram and check out their website and get in touch with them for a tour. The Sterling Ballroom in Tinton Falls. It should be on your short list for your ballroom weddings, and check them out. And is there anything else, Allison, before we let you go, that you would like our listeners to know about the Sterling Ballroom?
If you're looking for a easy, stress-free planning process, this is, the place to go. And if you have any questions or need anything, you just reach out. There's links all over our websites and our social media. We do different promotions throughout the year. So please follow us at our Instagram and you'll see we have a great social media team. They're always
Mm.
posting and updating when we have anything going on and stuff like that.
Yeah. Excellent website.
Fantastic.
Excellent website for
you.
couples to really get a good feel, and you have it all there. I love we talked about the wedding packages and the accessories that you can add on to it.
Yeah,
Well,
there's all
thank you.
kinds of great stuff.
I know the accessories are good, right? I like the way it's laid out there for you to choose from.
Really easy. And we always, we always say this, like we're always recording in the morning, and by the time we finish the podcast, we're both starving.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, I was looking at
That's
the-
what couples come in all the time and they're like, all right, I have to go eat now.
You get a lot of good reviews for your food,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Yeah.
And it's all under one roof and one-stop shopping. You really have a lot of over 200 5-star reviews. So at
Wow.
least
That's
and
great.
in this one
Yes,
location,
thank
I mean,
you. And we
yeah.
really try to keep up with all of the trends and stuff, as the new things come in with our packages, with our accessories, updating chairs, linen, stuff like that. So we
You know-
always are keeping up with the times, but keeping that timeless feel with the ballroom and the chandeliers and stuff like that.
Yeah, the chandeliers are beautiful. The On that note, any trends that you're seeing right now that you think that are going to carry on to 2025? Anything? I personally haven't seen too much anything so distinct as, like, a couple of years ago it was burlap was everywhere.
Oh, God.
The burlap
Everywhere,
came and went
yes.
quickly. But Allison, before I let you go, do you have any trends that you're seeing right now?
A trend I would say that I'm seeing in a way is that smaller
Oh,
wedding, 120 people.
Mm.
Really looking for that, kind of circles back to that your
Mhm.
last podcast
Yeah.
episode with just having
Right.
that more right there. Times are different. It's not the parents coming in and paying for the wedding anymore. It's the couples coming in and really just having a shorter list of guests and just really wanting to have close family and friends with them. And I would just say, like, really just the smaller weddings, more intimate weddings.
Right. Yeah, we are seeing that too. And smaller bridal parties, if any,
Yes.
that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
thank you.
okay. No, go ahead.
I was going to say thank you for joining us today, but if you had something else to add.
No, nothing else. Thank you so much for having me. It was so nice to be able to do this and talk with you ladies.
Okay. All right. Look forward to working with you. Hopefully
Yes,
sometime
hopefully we will
soon
see you soon.
Yeah,
All
I hope
right.
to see
Thank you.
you soon. Have a great
Yes.
one.
All right, have a great day.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
This podcast is brought to you by New Jersey wedding officiant Andrea Pertel, owner of For This Joyous Occasion Officiating Services.
And Celia Milton, owner of NJ Vows Now, also New Jersey wedding officiating services. We're up in North Jersey, and Andrea is down in Central and South Jersey. So together we cover the whole state, don't we?
Yes. Yes.